I'll make this one short and sweet. Okay. Back the chips. I have to put some more in this time, but I'm gonna fuck them chips. We got a letter talking about that I wrote a letter, which is, okay, right here. Yeah, it was dated third. I wrote a letter to my brother. This is like 1 page letter. I wrote one to his girlfriend, a 13-page letter. When I sent yesterday, I sent her a letter about a couple of months ago. Let me put out that one and read that one out. I'm just going to show you just a little bit of this letter. I can keep this one short and sweet now. Yeah. It reads, let me show you. I'll just show you a little bit. I'll just cover my address. Right, come on, bastard. Oh, let me see this cut here. Okay. Sharon. Okay, dear Sharon. Dear Sharon, can you please ask your boyfriend Danny Smith to contact Melvin, ex-ID Day Dancer, and ask him how long did he know Carol, my ex-wife, before he introduced her to me in August 1984. Was it 2 years? Was it 18 months? Was it 1 year? Or was it 6 months? Alright, let's cover up some of this shit. I've got the proof of postage on it, so I've got some sensitive details on the show, like all the letter. 13-page letter. Alright, I'm gonna cut this one short. Because he was going out with her. He was going out with her, I don't know, months, years, before I even met her. And he was going up there with his posse from fucking North London and shit. And this is around the time when she got impregnated, saying that it was my kid. Oh, these fucking cunts on my brother telling me that my idiot brother Derek. Right? This could have been about 7, 8 years ago. I see him. I'm going to the shop and I'm seeing him on the high street. And he turned around and said, "Oh, you should go. You should have a." I'm saying, "Hey, fucking, can I smack it?" He's just making shit up, like he's acting like he doesn't know shit. She had in excess of a dozen boyfriends. I always got in that. I remember that when I met her, she was a stripper and a hooker. This is a fact. That was Melvin's. Tell myself, Melvin's girlfriend. She went to. I didn't take her nowhere with me. I wouldn't be seen nowhere there. Anybody who used to see me in clubs, you see me chatting up babes and stuff. They didn't really tell me I had any girlfriend. I used to go to clubs. I was rendezvousing with chicks at the time. I wouldn't take her nowhere. She went to Electric Bourne once, and this was in 1984, around the August period. Late August. That was Melvin's girl. He had a couple other girls. That's why I got interested in going to Bolton, because Melvin used to say, "Oh, he knows these chicks." He was at this party in Liverpool in Toxteth. He says lots of hot chicks and stuff. One of the Toxteth riots with him years ago in Liverpool and Bolton and stuff. And I never went up there. I didn't go to them sides before. I said, "Yeah," because he knows these people, drugs and stuff. He said he was going to go on a weekend trip. I said, "Yeah, count me in." There was about 5 of us that went up there. Simon Lowry was there, Maurice Buchanan, Philip. Melvin's from North London, his surname. Anyway, and when we came back, because we went to Bolton, because he was planning to get. All right, we had to have somewhere to stay. He was staying at our house before. That was his girl. And these motherfuckers tell me saying to me to get DNA. There's at least a dozen guys that should be getting DNA tests. They're asking me, let them have their DNA test first, and then they come to me with all that shit, putting my name on that kid of hers. I mean, she said to the very, because Melvin, what happened was, when we first went to Bolton, we got to Bolton, and the Melvin said, right, we didn't have no hotels. We were staying in the hotels. He knew the people, he knew Carol, he knew a couple other people, he knew Carol and stuff. So we was going to stay at their house. He knew her father, because he made homemade rum and stuff. And he said, oh, before we went there, he said, all right, everybody's going to bring their arms up. We don't want anybody there smoking. I said, yeah, cool, no problem, bro. But he's applied for North London. But he said there was like a bit of a drought there, meaning that there was hardly any weed around. And we was rushing, we had to leave and stuff. So he said, that's okay. He'll get some weed up in Bolton because he knows some people there in Manchester and stuff. So we went up there, this and that. When he met her, well, she had a couple of other boyfriends and stuff, but it was his girlfriend. It was his connection. He maybe known her for a year or two. People, people coming out with like, they're abbreviating this stuff and not coming out with the true details. I'm gonna have to write that letter out soon because I burnt some chips and I'm gonna have to switch this off soon. But the truth of the matter is, that was his girl. Went first trip to Bolton, came back, I'm gonna cut long story short. Came back from, I wanted to go to Liverpool. I said, let's get the fuck out of this town in 84. Late August, April. Let's get the fuck out of this town. Let's get the fuck out of this town. I mean, this is not good. The chicks in this town fucking minging. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to Liverpool, talk stuff. No, let's get some drugs, this, that. Because when we first landed in Bolton, he was on the phone and all this and that. I think, I said, what's going on? Because I don't know what's going on. They said, we got to go to, because we got there in the afternoon, we got to go to Bolton, to the city centre where there was a court because Carol was there. She had 2-3 other friends with her. It was at the court, at the Bolton court, because they were stealing from, I don't know, the Bolton Arndale Centre or Manchester Arndale Centre. But we was rendezvousing. That's how I thought. It didn't give us no details when we was going up the way on the way there. I was thinking, what the fuck kind of fucked up trip is this? That was it. He's and these people we went back after a few days, went back to London. When Carol first came to London, she came back with Melvin. On the track, we all came back together. She was in train and stuff. But she, when we got off the train, when we first went to London, I said, I'm going back to Southside because he was like North London. She didn't come back with me. She went back to Melvin and stuff. And then when she found herself at Morris Buchanan place in Brixton with this other black guy, and Mark said, look, he lived there, he lived in Brixton. And like, that's how they linked her up because they had to go somewhere. They said, she needs to stay around. She was to stay for one more day. And it was around the time of Nottingham Carnival. But before that, we went to Electric Ballroom. And I bet she was the, and that was, Melvin took her there. I didn't take her Electric Ballroom, I didn't take her nowhere. When she showed that, she got to 1 or 2 places. I didn't know she could show. So I'm hearing a story, I'm looking at the stories online where she's turning around and saying that, giving the impression that I took her places. I didn't take her nowhere. I felt ashamed of me seeing her to be quiet. But in fact, she wasn't even my girlfriend. I had a couple of other girlfriends. And she was around there calling me boyfriend girl. Anyway, it's a long story, a bit technical. I want to try and find time to explain it because it's really technical, complicated. And anyway, when Melvin first, he took her to Electric Ballroom. Morris Buchanan was there and everything. And she got into a fight and got beaten up by dancers and kicked out. And that was the first and last time that she went to Electric Ballroom. Because I remember I was in the jazz room at night because she must have been downstairs with Marvin and all that shit. I don't even recall her even stepping foot in the jazz room once. Because I knew some girls there and stuff. And it was in the jazz room, some guy ran up the stairs when she was there the first time in Electric Ballroom. The first and last time it happened, some guy walked through the jazz room and said, there's a big fight downstairs, someone's getting beaten up. What? We just find out what's going on. So there was about that. I think there was about a dozen of us. We heard that in the jazz room. We went straight downstairs. And always said, I remember the bouncer's name. His name is Morris, and he's in one of those. He's a real life bouncer. He's in that Vince Ramus video. That Vince Ramus tune goes on for a little while. That was only played once in Electric Ballroom. Paul Murphy played the whole tune. It was complete shit. No one danced it. Never got played again. One listen to idiots like Jerry Barrett turning around and saying, that was like something like a big hit in Electric Ballroom. It wasn't, they just exaggerating, just making shit up. It was even, Jerry Barrett was even Garrulous. They weren't even part of the jazz scene. I'm going to get to all that shit later. Anyway, so I just was saying in the other video about a few months ago, I can't understand why nobody's saying anything. They're just making shit up some unbelievable life. Yeah, and I went downstairs and all I saw was the bouncer. The real life bouncer, his real life bouncer, his name is Morris. He used to be a bouncer, electric ballroom. But he's in the video, the Vince Raymond's video, where he's standing outside the WAG club. But he was a proper bouncer. And I see he's downstairs, he had a headlock. And he's going bang, bang. I don't think there was any other girl that got beaten up or got kicked out electric ball. But we wasn't no boyfriend girl, because in the time I knew her from 84 to 89 in a sense, and she was hardly with me. She was most of the time in between 1984 to 1989. She was most of the time in Bolton and stuff, and other towns. I think she was there in Leeds for a little while. Because out there, that guy in Brothers in Jazz, his name is Trevor. He lived in Bolton. That's where he was born and stuff. He can tell you some stories about her, and I can't be in two places at one time. She used to have relationships with guys, and people just summarize things and say, "Oh, we was together and stuff." But she was getting beaten up by the bouncer, and she got kicked out. And I was wondering where Melvin was, because he must have been hiding away and stuff. It was his girlfriend was really weird, really weird. But because certain people, like members of my family, they're acting like they ain't got no memory. I mean, I've wrote a couple of letters earlier this year telling them, I'm sick and tired of your lies. How come nobody's telling the truth? Because all they're making up shit. You know, there's about at least 12 candidates that could have been the father of that shit, of her kids. I'm going to have to switch this off because my mind is there on the cooker and stuff, and I'm going to burn my chips again. So what I'll do at the end of the week or two, whatever, I'll finish with this story about that so-called ex-wife. Alright, let me shut this down for now.